Welcome back. Last week, I told you about the eerie things that have happened at the Shreveport downtown YMCA, which could be attributed to a man who used to live on that property long ago. Well, you could say this next story is part two, because there's a connection between the downtown YMCA, the Spring Street Museum, and a wealthy businessman named Edward Jacobs. Tonight, the museum and Jacobs, the subject of this eerie Arklatex report.
Do you recognize this place with the headless dog? Or this balcony that leads to what appears to be an old Victorian room? Or how about this? A secret wooden door in the floor. If you haven't figured it out yet, you're in one of the oldest buildings in Shreveport. It used to be a bank way back in the day during the 1800s, but now it's the Spring Street Museum, a place to discover Shreveport's history and more.
From 77 to 83, it was Jacobs Bank. And then after that, for about 5 years, he used it as an annex for the grocery store on Texas Street.
Museum Director Marty has been running this place for about 6 years and has worked to maintain the building's place on the list of the National Register of Historical Places. He says the building looks pretty much the same as it did, let's say, back in 1877. Marty says the two-story historical structure maintains its original floors, windows, and paint, not to mention even one of its original owners.
And I was working on the floors, and I said to myself, and I said out loud, I said, man, I cannot see, because I could not see. And that light surged up and got bright at that very second that I said that. So, I mean, I was stuck. What do you do? I basically just said thank you.
He was saying thank you to the man who used to own this building back in 1877, Edward Jacobs. This is a younger picture of him. And here's a family portrait of when he was much older. It took some time for the museum director to come to the realization that this building is haunted.
The girls that worked here before me were always getting tapped on the shoulder and things like that, and I was kind of mean to them, saying that y'all crazy.
He stopped calling them crazy after so many unexplained things started happening. He then called the lady sitting next to him. Her name is Bess Maxwell. She's with the Louisiana Spirits, a paranormal investigations team. The team came to the building for an investigation not too long ago and concluded that some entity exists in the building.
We asked for Ed Jacobs' birth name. Of course, he was born in Germany. His birth name was Ephraim Jacoby, and he changed it to Ed Jacobs when he got to this country. And we asked for his birth name, and we got Ephraim.
The museum director tells me that the eeriest part of this building seems to be the basement, because every now and then when he brings someone down here, they tend to feel something.
You get to the basement by opening that door in the floor. The director and Maxwell showed us the hot spot.
Bess, come stand in the hot spot. This has been the area that we had the psychic almost have a heart attack.
Yeah, she was just palpitating.
Ed
He was trying so hard.
Ed was trying so hard. He was just simply overwhelmed her. It's almost like she's had a short circuit.
Paranormal investigators claim to have recorded numerous EVPs, or voice recordings, of who they believe is Edward Jacobs. Here's one of those recordings. Listen close.
Did it just say Ed? Ed? Is Ed Jacobs here?
Whatever that was, it sounded like it said Ed Jacobs there at the end. The museum director says even though the museum has some sort of unexplained phenomenon going on in it, he believes it's nothing to be afraid of. And says if you don't mind learning a little Shreveport history with a friendly ghost, well, come on down. Doors are open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3:30.
Now, the museum has been in operation since 1977, and here's an interesting fact. Jacobs Bank became the first national bank to be chartered in Shreveport and was the oldest continuously operating bank in Louisiana when the First National Bank of Shreveport merged with the statewide Premier Bank, which later merged with Bank One and then Chase Bank.